Hello, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with Railway Empire, and of course, we're playing the Civil War chapter of the game. And I'm playing with the advice of my friend IKB, who's very involved in railways. Say hi to everyone, IKB.
Hi everyone.
And so he's going to give me some advice as we play this through. We have to connect up our newly conquered railways down here as we move into like this is Tennessee here. The states aren't well marked. Okay, so we need to get out here and get weapons down to one of these locations here, Memphis or whatever. We got army troops camps down here. All right. Well, I think, yeah. Well, actually, now, obviously this is mostly straightforward. Okay, yeah, that would be all right, I guess. This way we can connect up if we want to some other systems. Now, this goes to 1. Okay, so that gets us connected, but what we need to also do is set up the signaling system, as you can see which way the tracks are flowing, and we're going to try to keep that. Oh, I keep forgetting. Do the points so that they can cross over from one direction to the other. Okay, now okay, that's simple enough. And does it specify? Okay, construct or connect California, right? 12 loads of weapons. I don't know, do they specify to where? Is there a place for their demanding weapons? Down here. They have a demand of 7 currently, and they have 0. There they also have a demand of 7. So I think either one of these places wants weapons, and we're producing weapons out of our factory. That's convenient, isn't it? Of course, but that was the earlier mission. Well, now let's first set up our path from there to Nashville. And okay, they're already, let's look at track usage. Yeah, there, and track usage down here, which is 0. But what we want to do is focus just on weapons. And so that we get all the weapons moved that we can. Now, oh, damn it, I hit the wrong button. Okay, so do this again, clear that out. Okay, now hit the right button this time. Okay, let's see. That's faster. If we come over here. No, here. Okay, we get more information about it. I guess this is just absolute. The Dragon is better for what we're doing because it's a freight engine and it's going to move faster. Tractive power. Do you know what they mean? I can guess what they mean by that, IKB. Do you know what they mean by tractive power?
I believe what they're trying to abstract there is tractive effort, which is a measurement of essentially how much pulling power a locomotive has.
Okay.
Sort of a way to think of it relating to cars or more sort of road vehicles in general is that yes, something like a Lamborghini is very fast, but it hasn't got very much sort of torque, very much pulling
Okay.
power. Whereas
Right.
something like a big like a big the tractor unit from an articulated truck isn't
Right.
very fast, but has an awful lot of pulling power.
Okay. Yeah. I got that because I obviously I can see miles per hour. For you Europeans, that's what that MPH stands for, miles per hour. And I see the difference that it has less tractive power. This faster Rensselaer, or however you pronounce that. But so that's the Dragon engine is the one that we want to use because it's faster and it has even more tractive power to move cargo. That's what we're focused on now. We're focusing on cargo. Let's come back here. Do we have a stoker? Possibilities. Let's go with somebody that'll give us more speed. Oh, he's already being used. We'll use this guy who hasn't been used. That'll do more speed, and we'll use well, I guess we'll use somebody else to also give us speed. So we're gonna speed them up with both of those. We don't need a conductor because we're not going to be moving personnel. Security guard. I don't know if anything's going to rob our armament shipments, but we're going to definitely see about not having that happen. And they're all fine with each other. Now, what we're also going to do is, because we want to also make money with our system down here that this is captured railway, we're going to come down here and set up most places like food and milk. So this isn't terribly convenient, but go from there to Memphis and we're just going to go with the Philadelphias because they're sort of a shorter distance, less critical. And we're also going to come from here over to Nashville. Oh, well. And we're also going to use a Philadelphia. I may be cheaping out and it may not be a good idea. But we're going to make sure that these guys are moving at least 4. And the other Norris Farms to Memphis. Also make sure that they're at least moving 4. They don't need a full load, but we don't need them running empty. And similarly with Harris Manor. We're going to set that up. Feed the city so that they grow. Okay, so yeah, their track isn't clear because they're both using the same bit of rail. Increases locomotive power, we'll take that. These these guys. Are they moving any weapons? Good, they're moving some weapons. Now it's war. Dark times ahead. Tension between northern and southern states has escalated over the last few days, plunging our nation into war.
Damn it, it has happened. War. Now we can only hope that the flames of war do not blaze up into the north, and we will do something about it.
Jonathan Johnson's the name, and I have my eye on you. Don't ever dare set foot or tracks in the South. This is my territory, and I'll deal with the network myself.
Okay, so we have a Confederate opposition railway manager. Though for some reason he was wearing a blue uniform. Though there were some Confederate blue uniforms, but still.
Battles are raging south of Louisville. We have to push back the Confederate troops. Until that happens, you won't be able to expand the rail network in that direction.
Okay, so now we're having a little bit of track clearance problems up here. Well,
might be worth adding some signals then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Well, it looks like we have a lot there. But
even if we are in the midst of the turmoil of war, we cannot forget that it will one day be over. And then we will work together with the southern states and be a whole once again. Our president will do it. Of that, I'm sure.
Okay, we can do this express trains. That would be useful. And we have the cash to buy the research instead of researching it ourselves. Well, you know what I'm going to do here is...
Oh, it's being loaded now.
Yeah, but it still has this up here, track clearance. So what I think I'm going to do here is expand it. Can I kill just... No, there's sort of a trick you can do here. And you can drop a water tower like that. And then bulldoze this section of track. Then replace... well, we're going to bulldoze... No, bulldoze all of that. We're going to buy that. Now we're going to come back and we can bulldoze this for the full cost, the 30,000. So we didn't actually spend money on the water tower, but it did sort of segment the track, so we didn't have to pay for rebuilding too much of the track. Sort of a gamey thing to do, but still. Now let's check their signals. Okay, it looks like going both ways. Hopefully that's... There's just no demand for it, maybe? Yeah, that's it. There's no demand. It needs 40,000 citizens, so that's a bad idea. Is there demand up here? I'm used to there being demand. These are just small towns. Okay, so it's just that there's no demand, so that's why they're... The one that's loading is waiting to load because there's no demand. The other one is the track isn't clear, so that's that. So we'll just let that sit there until these towns grow. And to get them to grow, along with everything else,
you could always send the could always send it to one of the trains on your main network.
Yes.
Send it to one of the other towns.
Yes, I think I know what you're saying, and you gave me a very good idea. So we're gonna Now we're going to come here and we're going to, because it's just not doing anything. Norris Farm. So we're going to remap this one. We're going to, let's see, Memphis. We're going to kill that. We're going to leave Memphis, and we're going to go there. And yeah. And this rail line here, we're going to remap this one. We're going to again kill that, and we're going to add Memphis, so it'll go in the opposite direction. Yeah, they'll go find their new homes now. And run hopefully cargo and goods between the two of them.
Do you want to add some? Oh, it looks like they've got maintenance facilities down there.
Yeah, they do there. Do we have them in here? But you're right. Yeah, no, right to keep me on track with that, because I do often forget to do that until I get the warnings of, hey, you need to need maintenance. Okay, we've done 4 loads of weapons so far, and we got to do them. Oh, meat industry where? Way out here. Where are we? Oh, we're way at the edge. Yeah, that's cheap enough. We'll buy it. Or bid on it. See if our opponent tries to get it. No, okay. That may help us financially later on, once we connect down there. Yeah, see, like I say, okay, maintenance there, or, yeah, we don't have any of it there. Yeah, because so, presumably this train eventually will come to both Indianapolis and Chicago, so we'll add the maintenance in one location. It'll get there eventually.
Right. Is there a water tower on that line somewhere between
yeah,
Chicago
yeah.
and?
No, there isn't. Oh no, there is. There is right there. Just didn't see it. There we go. No, we do have a supply tower. So you're right. It's water primarily is obviously what they need, but they're also figuring in other oil and wood or coal or whatever. Oh, turn off the pause.
When the war broke out, there was no time to lose. Shortly before that, I had opened my own bank in Philadelphia, and so important politicians leapt right at me to finance the war with treasury notes. Now it is said that he who buys treasury notes proves he is a true patriot. 2,500 workers are in my service, selling them throughout the land. This is also my service to our country.
And that is how the Union is paying for the war, heavily. Now here we probably do need a water tower. Okay.
Yeah, up here at Rock Island, there isn't a water.
Yeah.
There's no water tower.
Okay. Let's give it about roughly the halfway point.
Might be worth adding one between St. Louis and the cattle ranch, a water tower as well.
Um,
I saw one of those trains
yeah.
complaining it was a bit short.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There we go. Got to keep the goods flowing. Warfare always has been, but modern warfare is so much more dependent on resources. So much more. You can look back at, you know, everybody's familiar with the Battle of the, you know, the 300, the movie, Thermopylae, you know, the 300 Spartans defending against the Persian attack. Well, the only way the Persians were able to get such a big army to come into Greece is that there was alongside of it a massive fleet carrying supplies. And so that's how you had to do it before railway. You can look at Churchill, the Duke of Marlborough Churchill, not the World War II Churchill. The Duke of Marlborough and Eugene or Eugen, Prince Eugen, famous in Germany for something else, but they did a joint campaign going up and down, I believe it was the Rhine and some of the other rivers that they used river barge traffic. And that was the only way that they were able to move such of their large armies effectively and quickly, is by water traffic. But even then, it pales in the comparison to the amount of goods needed for a modern war. And that is only able to be carried out because of railways. We can look at, you know, Belgium, the Netherlands, you know, that part of the world where you have all these fortified towns, and you can look war after war, battle after battle. They're all sort of fought around a few fortified towns. Armies are collected. They can't move very far because you can't supply them and get them very far. You know, they can get to the logistics point, besiege a fortified city, may or may not take it. There may be a relief army coming up to battle them. You know, that's how you get the big battles. And that's very limited warfare. And that's how warfare is. It often quits in the winter because they can't move logistically enough stuff. So it's not just food. Food is a critical element, but it's shoes, it's clothing, it's all kinds of things that people need to live, to get it to a concentrated point that isn't normally concentrated, because when you're concentrating all those forces, either you're adding them to a logistic system that already exists, you know, a Renaissance, 18th century, medieval, whatever period we're looking at, town or whatever that's already set up there, but doubling or tripling the size of the population with a huge army is going to overwork the system. So you can only do that on limited basis for a short period of time. That's why castles and fortified cities, looking in the 18th century, are so effective, is because, hey, you can just wait the people out. The big army has to go away. Even if it doesn't die of starvation or die of disease or something like that, which are rampant in these things, eventually it's going to have to go away because winter's going to come. And if we've got enough food, you know, we're fine. We're gonna be okay. But you know, if you can wait them out. And so that's why that they're so important. Where today, Maginot Line, it sort of kind of works. It gets them to go around. Obviously, it doesn't work in the defends France, but it shapes the battlefield. So fortifications, in the modern sense, are shaping the battlefield because we can apply enough high explosives to a point, you know, or along a defense line somewhere with bombs or railway guns or whatever, enough high explosives to blast through anything that man makes in a relatively short period of time. But railways allow this concentration of everything an army needs, everything people need to survive and live, that isn't dependent upon water. Now, so we do have a few canal systems, few big rivers that do it, but mostly with water, we're talking the ocean. And so this is where Britain has and America inherits the the seafaring tradition that allows warfare, and why America is, and Britain before it, and not trying to diminish that, but why America is really able to win World War II through sea power. I mean, yes, when they apply their divisions against the Germans, they do very well, both in the combat, but also in delivering of ammunition, delivering of the ability to fight that war everywhere. And Germany, through rails, can never quite do it. Rails, sorry, IKB, rails will never quite do as well as the sea. The sea will always be, there's less friction between, unless you get magnetic levitation, gliding on air, unless you're going to pure air friction, the less friction you're going to have is going to be at the sea, and also because the sea is big, you're going to have the volume of traffic that's going to be able to move goods, people, whatever, around so much more. And that is why naval power is also so important, but rails allow it to happen. You can't do it without them, because in your home country you got to have rails to move goods and services around, but it all does sort of matter. That's what's important about this game and history. We'll go with this. Okay, another complaining. Okay, where do these guys go? Okay, Parker Ranch. Okay, so we need a water tower here too. Yeah, we'll stick it in front of them. This time it's still sort of in the middle. Even a short route just needs it eventually. Breakdown bad condition. Now this is coming up to here. Okay, big warehouse. I think everything's coming up to here is going to go down to here. So let's just build it here, because it's 80,000, and I don't know what's going to jump out at me at need to, and this train will also be able to do maintenance there. Well, we built a water tower there.
Yes, because I do remember reading about I think it was some Confederate troops who were traveling by train, and their train ran out of water, and they only had one bucket to refill it with.
Right.
And that obviously took a while.
Yeah, I probably, because I would probably play this in the future, need to look up the general. And I think it may be related to the story you're talking about. The General was the name of a train, an engine, that I think it was Confederate troops capture. And then there's a Union pursuit, following behind it in another train. That's a sort of an epic, I should be able to tell the story better before bringing it up, but it may be involved in that or some other thing, that some big epic chase along the railways during the American Civil War.
The Great Locomotive Chase.
Yeah, it would be what it would be called, yes. And very sort of interesting thing. Okay, War of the Supply Routes, okay.
Knoxville and Jackson can now be reached. Connect them to your rail network as quickly as possible and deliver weapons to the cities. It won't be long now until the fighting flares up there.
Okay, so we've achieved it.
There are also induction stations in Chicago, St. Louis, and Columbia. For this reason, the number of passengers to Knoxville and Jackson has increased. Make sure they all arrive on time.
Okay, so we have 3 tasks now. Deliver 12 weapon loads to Knoxville, 12 weapon loads to Jackson, not just anywhere, and total of 2,000 passengers to transport. Okay. And we need to connection bonus for the farm, which will get us money. We'll do that. We've captured Jackson. Presumably the Confederates destroyed the railway down there. And they've captured Knoxville. Now, if you look at a railway map, and I played some sort of grand strategy Civil War games in the past, and look at the railway density between the North and the South, you'll see the North is easily 4 times more railway dense. And this is just on like a hexagonal type map that only includes the railways that, you know, go through each hex, just only if you cut off the it doesn't matter whether there's 1 or 10 railways within the hex. It just, you know, if you cut it off, you cut them off, or you control them. So it really, really matters. And the South did have something that the North didn't have as much of, was really good navigable rivers, because we can see getting the Appalachian Mountains through here make the rivers up in here unnavigable, you know, much too steep. And so before the railway comes about, the South is using the rivers for transportation, and it keeps using them because it's set up in that fashion. And railways they're more than an afterthought, but they are just a you know, as needed minimalist type setup in the South, because there is very little industry, and there's beyond the slavery issue, there is a vastly different cultural issue between the North and the South. And it's partially influenced by the slavery system, but it's also generally, we can see, is sort of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's an aristocracy after a fashion, but it's a don't know if anybody in chat is paying attention. Not a patriarchy so much as a oh boy, I don't know if I'm going to get to this point, but it's Patreon system. Oh boy, but it's set up in such a way that it's not a free enterprise type realm, and so it's very different than the way the North is run. So you don't get to build the railway system like they do. So that's why the South, to this day, because the South is wrecked in the Civil War. Well, we're going to end this episode, not the live stream and not that, so you on Twitch just hang out, but we're going to continue the next mission in the next episode. So I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And of course, I would love to hear your comments, questions, suggestions, ideas. See you next time for more historical gaming.